Hello, everybody. This is Joe Campbell. I am running for recording secretary on the Progressive Change slate with Paulie Navarro running for president. I've run for president many times in the past. A lot of you remember me. My my platform had always been about change. My platform was always about organizing. My platform was always about getting the members their respect. I was division chair and car inspector representative for car equipment for over 10 years. Um, and we know that it's time for change, not just at the top, but in every division. I want to be able to take my wisdom and pass it on to a younger generation, a more vibrant, energetic generation in car equipment, so we can move forward. We could protect our future. We could protect our jobs. We could take the fight to management, and we make sure that our jobs are secure, our income is secure for years and years to come. I am with Vitaly Yaрошenko, who is running for CED vice president. It is my pleasure to know Vitaly. I am proud to support him. He has some things that he would like to discuss. This is the first of many shows. We're dealing with format right now. We are just going to put a few subjects out there, and we're going to ask you for your opinion, what you want to talk about, what you feel, how do you feel about what we're talking about. So without any further ado, Vitaly, what would you like to start with?
My name is Vitaly Yaroshenko. As I probably mentioned before, I'm an RCI in Car Equipment Division, and I'm running for Vice President in Car Equipment Division in the future election on the Paulie Navarro slate, part of his team. Paulie approached me while I was an RCI. We actually met by chance, and we kept talking to each other later on. And he approached me when he decided to run for the presidential position of TWU Local 100. A couple of things about myself. First of all, I'm 36 years old, Ukrainian American. I do speak 3 languages. Number one, I speak Ukrainian. Russian is my second language, and English, as you can tell, is my third language. But I'm trying to be open to anyone. Basically, I have no problems with talking to different people who came from different countries, because I myself came here as an immigrant, but to be honest with you, I've been here more than I spent in my own in the country that I was born from. So this being said, by being an RCI, I was able to experience a lot of different things on the road. And most of my time as an RCI, I spent by being an emergency response RCI, and I experienced over 25 12-9s. I had burning trains, I had derailments, I had experience with system safety. I actually had to go to the court to help one of our union members because of the 12-9 incident. And this being said, this is one of the reasons why I decided to run for this position. I understand that a lot of people might think that I'm inexperienced or I'm too young for this position, but to be honest with you, I'm willing to step up to the challenge. And if I'm okay with anybody stepping up, giving me pointers, as far as I understand, and I can tell that in order for us to know what's going to happen in the future and how our union will progress, as well as our job security will progress in the future, we do need both the youth and the fighting force, as well as experience from the previous times. That's why we decided to combine our team with myself, and Joe Campbell as my tutor, in order to help me navigate through the system in the meantime. So the reason why we decided to record this video in the first place was in order for me to talk about the card that I came out with, and you probably all seen it. Who haven't seen it, you will be able to have a chance to do so. And we can talk about different topics and different discussions during this video, but it doesn't mean that our topics will be interesting for our listeners. This is why we decided to record our first video, post it online, and see the response from you guys. And on the next video, we will answer all of the questions that are being asked. So number one priority on my postcard was, of course, Tier 6. Paulie Navarro, as a presidential candidate for TWU Local 100, has Tier 6 as a number one priority. And me, as a Tier 6 member, this is number one priority for me as well. We have to make changes for Tier 6, and at least we have to eliminate the overtime cap that not allowing us, when we will retire in the future, will not allow us to live among the people, as Paulie said in his video, to live among the people who we currently working for. And that's a big issue. Another thing that I put on my cars, it's of course minimize the number of contractors working for transit authority. I think there is no discussions about it. We all understand that the contractors have to be, the number of contractors has to be minimized on the premises of transit authority. Also, I put in on my card, it's a little bit outdated now, but it says that around 700 of our members in the department of, in CED, we are currently lacking 700 members. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we are lacking more than 1,000 members in the CED department. Meaning that I'm not going to go by the titles, because basically it's hundreds of people in each and every title. What I'm trying to say is our whole department is 4,500 members. 4,500 members, by missing out or by lacking 1,000 members, which bring us to about 22, 23%. With such a low workforce, what happens to the overtime? What happened to the overtime in some of the maintenance facilities, and the people that I've been talking to don't have any overtime right now. I'm not saying that I will, after the election, I will fix it right away. What I'm saying is, I'm trying to understand the point. While in car equipment, 2 positions are being the top 5 paid positions within the system, which is RCIs and CIs. But in comparison to other positions, we make less money annually. So my question is why? Why MLW has unlimited overtime and they can work as much as they want, while we are struggling to get bits and pieces here and there? We need to understand that this current overtime of disinfecting might not be there for a long period of time. It might stop in a couple of months, it might stop in a year. We don't know when the state will stop funding it. So the question is, what happened to the overtime that we were supposed to have due to the lack of personnel? And I'm afraid that when the COVID pandemic ends, the management will turn around and say, you guys did a great job by working at 75% capacity and doing the same amount of work as before. So why don't we keep it that way?
Absolutely right.
Why don't we keep it that way? That's my biggest concern right now. And even if we do have some overtime, currently in the maintenance facilities or anything, I'm just wondering, it's not enough. It's definitely not enough. Some people are struggling. I know some people don't care about overtime, but unfortunately, some people do care about that. And it's better to have continuous amount of overtime flowing in and be able to rely on it than trying to get bits and pieces here and there, which I believe that it's not fair for our department. What do you think?
Yes, I agree. Since our contract raises are minimal, they don't even come close now to the cost of living, and because of the COVID recovery, inflation is going up, prices of everything are going up, energy is going up because the economy is starting up again worldwide. That our lousy 2.5%, which we told the leadership when they put this contract in, 2%, 2.25 and all that, it wasn't going to be enough. Now, not even seeing the pandemic coming and the leadership actually turning it around and saying, well, aren't you lucky we got you a contract? Because if we didn't get you a contract, you'd have no contract because it's COVID. My response to that is, you did get us a contract, but you locked us into pay raises that were below the cost of living. I mean, even at that time. Now they're way, way below the cost of living. Transit workers, by not getting the overtime that you mentioned, are not able to keep their head above water to make up, even though we don't want to have to spend so much time from our family to make up for money that we should already be making. We don't even have the opportunity to do that.
My opinion, I would like to add something to what you just said. In my opinion, those checks that we received from the government, there is no free money, there is no free lunch in this life. And unfortunately, all the money that we currently receiving from the government as a help, the government will take it back, either in taxes, and they will not give anything to the citizens in order for them to have some wasted money or have losses. They'll get it back. And in order for us to do it, it's either it's inflation or it's going to be price increase, or maybe it's going to be taxation. We do not know. We do not know what's going to happen. What we are trying to do, what I'm trying to do, is to find out what possibly could be the ways in order for us to secure something to rely on. And unfortunately, with the rates that things are going, if we compare the years prior to that, the people who used to work for the Transit Authority 30 years ago, they were considered higher middle class. Now, the people who's working for the Transit Authority considered working class. We are not even middle class no more. We are working class. The price, we cannot keep up with the prices, and unfortunately, with this tier 6 thing is completely draining us, especially the new generations that are coming in. And this is why the union was trying to make some changes. Unfortunately, it didn't go as well as the people hope it would. But what I'm gonna say is, as a member of the union, as a new generation, as the employee of the Transit Authority who really cares about the job, because I still have plenty of time to stay here. I'm not going to retire because first of all, I don't have enough years to retire for as the age. I'm not within the age group because I'm only 36 years old. So I have to at least put up another 19 years in the Transit Authority. So the reasoning for me running for the office in the first place is to make sure that when the time comes for me to retire, I will be able to live a normal life without thinking of getting the second job in order for me to survive.
And I hear so many people talking about that, getting a second job after they retire. And to me, that makes no sense, unless, of course, that's a passion that you want to pursue. But working in East hardware store because you're not making enough money on your pension is a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace. It's not what unions do, and it wasn't the idea behind the pension system to begin with. The pension system was designed so we can move on, and we supplement it with 401k, 457, so you can move on at a young age and enjoy your life earlier before Social Security. That was the whole idea behind it. Otherwise, why have 2555 if you can't leave? So that's an absolute good point. I'm going to ask you a question. We expect to win, and we expect Paulie to win, and there has to be a training of new members, young new members into the union. We have to make this training happen, and we have to develop the next generation of union leadership in the Transit Authority. Do you think this is absolutely necessary that we train young members up front, fast and quick, and get them on the ground, get their feet moving, their tires rolling, and we could speed, do you believe that it's important to speed track that and get this union moving?
To be honest with you, in my opinion, between young and old, between experience and youth, I think that all the people who's willing to step up to the challenge should be able to step up to the challenge. The people who is willing to fight for their beliefs and for their better future, of course, in my opinion, it doesn't matter the age. But again, while listeners or the people who's going to watch this video is going to say that I'm prejudgmental towards myself, no, I believe that if you're willing to step up to the challenge, we are willing to teach you. If you would win, of course, I believe that the proper people, the proper personnel has to help our union members. In my opinion, for instance, we are currently have the union hall, which is located in Brooklyn, downtown Brooklyn, but we have 13 shops all over the system. If we look at the map of New York City, we have 2 shops in Queens. We have 3 shops, including overhaul and maintenance facility of Coney Island being included as one in Brooklyn, and we have 7 shops up in Bronx and Upper Manhattan. So in order for our members to be able to have more knowledge from the union, to gain something in exchange, in order for them not to travel all the way to Brooklyn only because our previous 3 union representatives, meaning the presidents of the union, were from Brooklyn, I would suggest, and I already suggested to Paulie, we discussed this issue. And my suggestion, in order for us to overcome this problem, is to have a TWU Local 100 North, meaning we will open the location up north in order for the 7 shops to have an easier access to the union. The meetings will be held for car equipment in both halls on 2 different days on a monthly basis, or if needs to be, we can have more meetings in order for the people to educate themselves. On the top of it, as Paulie mentioned in his video as well, we would like to have a knowledgeable people representing our union members. All the way down to the shop stewards, they need to be knowledgeable. They need to have some trainings from the union. And unfortunately, due to the COVID situations, we cannot hold any classes right now for those members, but the COVID will not be there forever. Or we can set up the Zoom meetings with the big groups of people just to give them knowledge in order for them to help our members. This being said, I'm that kind of person. First of all, I'm young. I'm that kind of person that I do not like to sit in one specific location. I will try to be all over the system. I will talk to people. I will talk to the members. I will try to be on the different days in a different locations, trying to tackle all of the issues that our members might have. Because the reason why is I believe that by avoiding the specific shops of specific groups of people and resolving their smaller issues, those small issues can lead to bigger problems that will require much more attention than it would originally take to resolve those small problems. That's why I will be always around the system, and that's why I'm willing to provide and produce the proper information to our future union reps in order for us to have better representation, to have a better relationship between the union and the members. Unfortunately, what I did notice currently in the union is for the past couple of decades, our union turned out to be family business, to be honest, because one person wins the election, then retires, handing over their position to somebody else after 18 months without without the new person being even qualified to hold that position. That's why I believe we are the group of people who's trying to make changes to the union, and we are coming from outside. Of course, some of our members of our slate have been involved with the union for a long period of time. They have enough knowledge and experience, but to be honest with you, each and every member of the current union head or the top of the union being a part of the previous team, which is normal because they bring in, we are trying to use the understanding of that common sense and understanding of the previous mistakes in order for us to avoid the same mistakes in the future. That's why me and Mr. Campbell decided to have this conversation. We're having conversation on a daily basis. Same thing with Pauline Navarro, same thing with other representatives who will represent other departments in order for us to be on a track and to have a goal set up in front of us in order for us to make this union better and for the members to start believing in the union again.
Yeah, I just want to point out that our adversaries and detractors in the union are going around and saying that I'm the one pulling the strings and Vitaly is a puppet and we're just using him because of where he comes from and the number of Russian-speaking people in car equipment. And as much as it would be complimentary for me to take credit for that, unfortunately, I cannot. Vitaly was the one that stepped up because he saw there was a need to fix things. And in the same manner as I do, I'm always the one that says, you know, if you want something done right, you do it yourself. I mean, that's why I stepped up. I stepped up for reasons similar to his a long, long time ago. No need to get into the story, but because I knew that something needed to happen, and I felt that I was the best one to step up and make it happen. And Vitaly feels the same way. My role here, at the request of Vitaly, is to give him advice where so it makes it easier for him to proceed. He has his own mind. He has his own plan of what he wants to do it and how he wants to do it. My job is to help him succeed. So whatever you hear out there from people that shall be remain nameless, it's not true. Vitaly is his own man, and he's gonna be the one that makes the decisions for car equipment.
In order to clarify things, I will say it again, that I was approached by Pauline Navarro, and before I actually met with Joe Campbell, we discussed a couple of different issues throughout the union and our vision for the future. Later on, when I became acquainted with Mr. Campbell, we came to agreeing upon a lot of things that has to be done, and this is how we teamed up, and this is how we met in the first place. So like I was, Joe Campbell is saying, I'm my own man, making my own decisions, but it doesn't mean that I will discard the knowledge and experience of the previous generations. For instance, there is a lot of things that the people liked about previous vice president of car equipment, and then the top four, who held the top 4 position later on, and he passed away. And there is a lot of things that can be learned from him, the way he approached things. It doesn't mean that I will do the same thing what he did, but I will try to modify them in order for those ideas to be suited, in order for those things to work while I'm doing them. So we do understand what I'm talking about. There are other different cases that are, what I'm saying is there is a lot of things to learn from a different generations, but new generation have to step up to the challenge as well, because if we always keep relying on the previous generation, what's going to happen if the previous generation is going to retire? By the end of the day, if the new generation don't step up to the challenge, and by the end of the day, the people who's currently running the union is going to leave, who's going to lead us? This is the reason why I'm stepping up to the challenge. This is the reason that I believe changes can be made. And I'm not saying changes in general. I'm saying changes that we will benefit as the union members from those changes.
Yes, and if you look at the current administration and how it's developed over the years, you notice that it doesn't train new people. It doesn't train shop stewards to later on become, officers of a higher rank. And there's a reason for that, because people are afraid of training their replacements, because their replacements may become their competition. So what they do is they leave a void. They leave a void of people that not only don't have confidence to step up, but also don't have basic knowledge to move forward. Like, how do they move forward? So all you have now is you have people in that situation, like we have right now, by the way, in many, many divisions, car equipment in particular, where you have people that can walk away. And if they left this place hanging, who is it now that's going to step in? And we don't feel that the union should be run that way at all. We feel that we should be training our replacements, and our replacements will be ready when it's time for us to leave. And we know that we left this union in good hands when we do leave. That's the plan. That's how a union is supposed to work.
Also, what I would like to mention for the future videos and for you guys to discuss about and maybe ask some questions, what I would like to add for this video is one of the ideas that we're currently working on, that we have it as a plan, is to have, like I said before, dedicated workers, dedicated union representatives in the different titles. This being said, what my plan for the future is to have the division chair for car inspectors and RCI, and to have a division chair who will take care of CTAs, TPPAs, and stock workers. What I'm saying is, we're still going to be under one division. We're still going to be on the same VP, but I would like to have, like I said, dedicated people, dedicated personnel working and helping the people that in the titles that they came from. I'm not saying that car inspector cannot take care of the issues that CTAs are having. What I'm saying is CTA will tackle the issues of other CTAs with much more confidence and much better than any other title would. This is why the idea is, in the future, if we win the election, or I would say after we win the election, I will become a vice president of car equipment. My goal would be to have the department where 2 division chairs, one for, like I said, one for RCIs and CIs, and another one for CTAs, TPPAs, as well as stockroom workers.
Great idea. Great idea.
I believe that as far as this cards goes, and this was the reason why we had this video, to clarify things, the only thing that I would like to add is we do not live in a feudal. Right now, it's 21st century, it's the democracy, and I do not believe that any group of people, any group of our members should be represented by specific person from the union. This is the reason why I want qualified workers, dedicated qualified workers, to be representing, to be able to work with people. This is the reason why we would like to add a second location up north and call it TWU Local 100 North. Masses can speak for themselves. People don't have to wait for certain someone to show up to ask the question, where the locations and the phone numbers are available to just make a phone call or show up and have their questions answered. People can talk for themselves. I have no problems with dealing, like I mentioned before, I'm an immigrant myself. My English might not be perfect, might not be the best. I do speak 3 languages, and I'm willing to listen to each and every member and try my best to answer their expectations and be able to help. each and every person. We will have our dedicated team working for the benefits of car equipment division. I would like to understand why other divisions have different things that we currently have. For instance, why by being two divisions under the same transit authorities, MLW can save up to 20 AVAs, while we at car equipment can save up only up to 14. So this is one of the things that I will tackle and see what can be done, what can be changed in order for the members of car equipment to have better future and to be able to work at our current, for the current company that we're working for and enjoy the time being here instead of struggling and looking at the clock, waiting for the hour to be done and saying, oh, it's time for me to go home because I need to go to a different job. Well, unfortunately, I understand the life is not always pleasant, but what I can promise is one thing: I will do everything what I possibly can in order for us to succeed and in order for the people to start trusting union.
Okay, I mean, we wanted to keep this video about 20 minutes. We went over it a little bit. There was a lot of information that Vitaly wanted to go over. So we hope that we answered some of your questions. We hope we caused some more questions to be asked. We hope everybody is interested in what we're talking about, and we want to hear some feedback. This is not a live. This is a recording, so we're going to upload it to all the social media and YouTube, and we're going to hope and watch for your comments, for your opinions, and your input, and we'll move forward from there. There'll be more videos to make, and we look forward to hearing from you. Vitaly, anything to say last?
No, I just would say that thank you. If you're watching this video, it's really appreciated. If you can leave any comments, it would be more than appreciated. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment box. So the next video, when we can answer all of the questions that you might have, or we can even do it live and accept the questions as we proceed with the videos. I would also like to say that the COVID is still out there, so be safe, and add two words in Russian that спасибо за внимание. Я надеюсь, что все от меня возможное, и также хочу сказать, что COVID еще не закончился, и берегите себя, и всего хорошего. Спасибо. До свидания. Thank you so much, and I believe that's pretty much it for the first video.
Good night, Vitaly, and good night, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.